Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I've got a great full body yoga workout, and it's especially going to make your lower body burn like crazy. So first we're just going to start off in a nice child's pose. We're just going to do a nice little warm up and stretch to get the body mobilized and ready for the workout. So just hold here, stretching your arms out. And you can have your knees together or you can have them a little bit apart. And we're just gonna roll our back and just arch it back. So kind of doing a cat and cow, but going back into child's pose. So really making this back like a wave. And let's just keep doing this a couple of more times. Just really warming up that back. Really nice and slow. Really feeling each vertebrae curling and arching. Alright, now let's just pause in child's pose for a moment. And we're going to slide slowly into a puppy pose, one of my favorites. I really love this stretch because it stretches out your shoulders. This is really great if you're working on your back bend or any other kind of back flexibility poses. Now you can keep your head down in this position, that's a little bit easier. But if you want to challenge yourself, you can keep your head up, so chin on the mat. Good, now let's slide into our baby cobra, so supporting ourselves on our elbows, and just head nice and up in a comfortable position. And we're just stretching out our back. And you can go up and down with the head if that feels good for you. Nice, slow, controlled movements. All right, last one. And then we're going to bring our hands closer to our body and just push up into a full cobra and then coming down. So we're kind of doing like a push-up in these positions. Just going back down and up into cobra. Nice and slow. Bringing some blood flow into the arms and the upper body. Good. We're doing about 10 of these. And then we're going to lift up into a nice up dog position. Nice slow movements. Really feel each part of your arm working here. And last one. And we're going to lift up onto our toes into a full up dog position and just coming down into down dog. Good, just holding those heels down, and you can walk it out if that feels good for you. Now slowly we're going to lower down into a tabletop position. So just bending the knees, hovering them over the mat, trying to keep a nice straight line in your back, keeping that core nice and strong. Keeping that belly button tucked in. Don't create an arch in the back. Nice straight line. Last one, and hold it. Hold, hold, hold. And let's go back to down dog, heels on the ground this time. And just really trying to stretch those arms. And we're going to lift one leg into our three-legged dog, keeping the leg bent. And we're going to start doing nice circles down. Just going to the side and up. Really warming up that hip. And let's hold it, keeping the hips square. Stretch the leg if you want. And let's just bring the foot through in between our hands and come for a nice high lunge. We're going to come up with our upper body, and we're just going to come into a lunge down and up. Hips are square. I am going with my arms down and then up into prayer pose. But if it's much easier for you to keep your hands on the hip, please do so. And we're just going up and down, really working the legs here. And now we're going to hold down, still keeping our back leg bent. My hands are in prayer. And slowly we're going to stretch the back leg. And I'm going to bring my arms out in front of me, keeping my lower body low, close to my knee. After this, we're going to kind of step in front, close to your other foot. So come up with your upper body and step forward and back into high lunge. Forward and high lunge. And if your balance is really good, you can lift the leg completely without touching it on the ground. And I'm keeping my standing leg bent the entire time so that my legs and my butt are activated. And I'm just going up with my arms and back into prayer. And now let's just balance, keeping the standing leg bent. Just hold. And let's slowly stretch the leg. And we're going to come for our warrior 3 pose. And then back into our standing wind. And warrior and forward. This really takes a lot of balance. Keeping that hip square. Try not to turn it out. And we're just gonna do a few more, and then we're gonna come and hold this warrior 3. And let's hold it. Keep your balance, look at some point or look down at the mat. Keep your focus. And we're gonna pulse up, keeping that hip turned in, hip square. Good, hold, keep going, and hold it. And come forward with the leg. And we're just gonna come up with the arms and around. And one more time the other way. Prayer and coming down to a forward fold. Halfway up. And let's just jump or step back into plank. And we're gonna come for our chaturanga. And just lifting up, shoulders back, and back to down dog. And we're just gonna hold here for a moment, just catching our breath, and just relaxing. And you can come into child's pose whenever you feel like. Just taking this moment for ourselves. And we're going to lift the leg up, stretching it into 3-legged dog. And we're going to slide it through outside of the mat, keeping our foot turned out, back knee on the ground. Foot is flexed, but you can point it. And I'm just going to push on my knee, push it away from me. Really make sure that your foot is turned out here, guys. And just relax here, just stretching out the hip before we go to our next exercise. Alright guys, we're going to place that hand back onto the mat, and we're going to lift the back knee into our lizard pose, into plank, and then other side lizard pose, and back to plank. And we're just going to repeat this about 10 times. And really making sure that our tailbone is tucked in every time we do the plank, so hips under. Don't stick that butt out. We want that our abs are engaged here. Shoulders over the wrist, head is straight. And keep going, almost there. Hold this plank. Hold. And let's come down into chaturanga. Let's make a nice flow. And back into down dog. And hold it. And now let's lift the leg, the other side, into a three-legged dog with a bent leg. And let's come for those nice hip circles. Really warming up our hip here. And hold it. Hips are square. Alright, and now let's slowly stretch the leg if that feels good for you. And we're going to sneak it through in between our hands and come up for a nice high lunge, bringing the arms up and into prayer or on the side of your hips. And we're just going to go up and down in this lunge, bending the back leg, really working our legs here. And we're just going to do about 10 of these, going up and down with the hands or with the hands on your hips. And really making sure that our stomach is nice and strong, our shoulders are back. And now let's hold down, keeping that back leg bent, hands in prayer. Good, and stretch the back leg, upper body close to the knee, arms back. And let's bring them forward in front of us. Bringing a lot of weight to this leg and up. And let's come up and back into lunge. Keeping that standing leg bent the entire time. If you're having a hard time balancing, you can totally hold on to the wall. And what really helps is just to look at some point and really focus on that. Keep going. I'm bringing my hands up and then back into prayer, but you can still keep your hands on your hips if this is easier for you. And we're gonna hold here, hold it, go a little bit lower in the knee if you want, and let's stretch it, and let's come into warrior 3, keeping the hips square. Good, and back to standing wind. This might be very difficult to balance at first, so please hold on to a wall. Good, nice, slow and controlled. Fixating on something. It's very hard to balance, as you can see, so don't get discouraged if it doesn't go right every time. If you fall out, get back into it. Good, and let's just hold here. And we're gonna pulse with the leg up, baby pulses. Good, hold, and come out. And let's just go around with our arms. And the other way around. And into prayer and down. Nice forward stretch. And let's lift halfway up. And now step back or jump back into plank and chaturanga or knees chest to mat. And into up dog. And now down dog. And let's just hold here for a moment. just to catch our breath and relax and release the tension. And when you're ready, let's lift the leg, the same one, into a three-legged dog. I have my legs stretched, but you can keep it bent. And let's just bring it through to the outside of the mat. Knee down, foot is flexed or pointed, keeping the foot turned out, and we're just going to push on the knee and just relaxing, stretching out the hip. Keep holding. We're holding this for 5 breaths. Now we're going to come into our lizard pose plank exercise. So lifting the knee into the air, hold, hands on the mat, and plank. And other side, keeping the hips under, belly button tucked in this plank. Don't want to lift the butt. Keep those abs engaged. Also making sure that our posture is good here, so shoulders are over the wrists, our head is nice and straight, not dangling between our shoulders. Good, almost there. And let's come up into yogic squat. And just hold here, bring our hands into prayer. If you can't get all the way down, that's totally fine. You could put a pillow or a yoga block under. And we're going to come up and down into squats. So really deep yogic squat, coming up and clenching your booty when you come up. So really squeezing those glutes. And last one, and now we're going to slowly lower down and into yogic squat, and we're just going to hold here for a moment, just catching our breath. Just keep holding. I'm going to show you the next exercise. So we're going to come into this yoga squat and we're going to jump back into a plank position and back into yogic squat. Plank position, yogic squat. Now that's the more advanced version. As for the easier version, we're going to go into the squat, lizard pose, plank, lizard pose, squat, and repeat. So if you're ready, I'm going to do the more advanced version, jumping and jumping back. Good. Whichever one you're doing, you want to make sure that your hips are down in the plank, that your abs are engaged. And let's hold this plank, hold it, hold it, hold it. Shoulders over the wrist, hips are under. And let's come to chaturanga, or knees, chest. And up dog, and down dog. And just hold here. We're holding here for 5 breaths, but if you feel more comfortable in child's pose, please do that. And let's release, and let's just walk or jump into seated position. We're going to do our final exercises. Let's come into boat position, knees together, shoulders back, and just holding those knees up, engaging the lower abs. And we're going to come to canoe into boat. Really nice and slow. This takes a lot of balance, so if it doesn't go right, that's totally fine. Just keep going. And we're gonna come up and we're going to hold after this one and hold it. And we're going to place our hands on our shoulders, crossing them and lowering down slowly. And then reaching above our head, making our body super long, stretching the abs here. Good. And release. Let's just bend our knees, rolling up, and we're finished today, guys. I hope you guys like that, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!